Right bracket Chapter 8. Utah's Dream Mine Lives On. By Diane Butler Christensen. Diane Butler Christensen is a freelance writer living in Provo. Her article appeared in the Utah County Journal, December 13, 1989. Utah's Dream Mine Lives On. By Diane Butler Christensen. One night late in August 1894, a Leland farmer named John Coyle lay down to sleep and subsequently opened one of the most controversial chapters in Utah County history. Coyle claimed the next morning that he had been visited in a dream by an angelic messenger, the same angel Moroni that had appeared to Joseph Smith. This angel, he went on to relate, had taken him to a mountain east of Salem and had shown him, inside the mountain, an extremely rich vein of gold ore. In addition, Coyle claimed to have seen 9 chambers containing piles of gold, treasures, implements and ancient Nephite records. Coyle fervently believed he was given, that night, a sacred assignment to begin mining operations to reach these fabulous riches. The gold would not be used for his personal wealth, but for the relief of the LDS people who would be in need of food and other commodities during a time of drought and world upheaval soon to come. Right bracket A few days later Coyle took a friend, Joseph Brockbank, up to the mountain. They found the spot Coyle said he recognized from his dream and started digging. Coyle began telling about his vision to all who would listen, and soon he had hundreds of people interested in his venture. Why would people accept so willingly a story so outlandish? First, John Coyle was no wild-eyed fanatic. He was a well-respected member of the community and was considered a man of integrity. Coyle's last living child, Mrs. Homer Harwood, avers, "There was no better man living than my father. He was a man who fulfilled his obligations to the church and to everyone." Apparently, many others felt the same. Coyle had never made a secret of the fact that he believed passionately in personal revelation. He claimed, for instance, that he had been directed in 1891 by a heavenly voice to go on an LDS mission to the southern states. Further, this was an era in LDS history when spiritual manifestations that might seem bizarre now were accepted as commonplace. Meetings where early saints spoke and sang in tongues, women gave blessings to one another, and the future was prophesied, are well documented. John Coyle's vision was not at first considered to be outrageous in any sense. It comes as no surprise, then, that members of the Mormon Church flocked to Salem to buy shares in the John Coyle Mining Company, or the Dream Mine, as it was popularly known, and to help dig the mine shaft itself. Norman Pierce, an avid supporter and contemporary of Coyle, chronicled these events in a book, The Dream Mine Story. Pierce claimed that John Coyle was supported fully by his stake president, Jonathan Page. Coyle was, in fact, called right bracket to be bishop of the Leland ward, near Spanish Fork, around 1910, when mining operations were in full swing. Pierce further states that Coyle received support from members in high positions of church leadership, such as J. Golden Kimball, who served with Elder Coyle as a missionary in the Southern States Mission, Matthias F. Cowley, and Anthony W. Ivins. If John Coyle had stopped with one vision, he might have remained in good graces with the LDS Church. He continued to make prophecy after prophecy, however, regarding world and church events. He also held, in his adobe farmhouse, meetings every Thursday evening. The meetings, which had the flavor and fervency of testimony meetings, were about the mine and Coyle's visions. He began very quickly to alienate and anger the first presidency of the church. In 1912, President Joseph F. Smith sent Apostle Francis M. Lyman to investigate John Coyle's claims and activities. Coyle was released post-haste from his calling as bishop and was directed to cease all mining operations or be excommunicated from the church. As a final blow, the first presidency published a letter ominously titled A Warning Voice in the Deseret News. The letter alerted church members to the dangers of being led astray by anyone claiming the gift of prophecy for the entire church. Coyle obediently closed the mine and moved to Idaho for several years. In 1920, however, President Heber J. Grant allowed Coyle and his supporters to reopen the mine so that the corporation might settle some outstanding debts. The Dream Mine went back into operation, with John Coyle in full cry right bracket, prophesying not only about his pet project, but about a variety of local, church-wide and nationwide events. Untold amounts of money and time were poured into working the mine. 3 young men were killed in mining accidents. Coyle's popularity waxed and waned among the LDS population of the area, and the LDS general authorities took an increasingly dim view of John Coyle, his mine, his prophecies, and his Thursday night meetings. No gold was found during all this feverish activity. A small pocket of platinum was discovered, which caused hysterical excitement for a few weeks, but the pocket turned out to be essentially worthless. The first presidency of the church ran the warning voice letter 2 more times in the Deseret News, the last time in 1945, over the signature of George Albert Smith. In 1947, an 82-year-old John Coyle signed an official letter repudiating his prophetic claims regarding the mine. He agreed to cease mining operations and cancel his Thursday night meetings. He hoped to avoid excommunication from the church by doing these things, but within 2 weeks he had begun holding the meetings again and was excommunicated. He died 2 years later. The mine shut down a second time with Coyle's death, but the enterprise is anything but dead. Ask lifelong residents of the Salem Spanish Fork area, and they will know many people who own shares in the mine, if they don't have a few shares themselves. There continues to this day an active board of directors. They prefer to call their nearly 100-year-old dream child the Relief Mine, and its corporate name has been changed right bracket accordingly. Their belief holds strong that the revenues from the mine's gold ore will buy tons of commodities, which will come to the relief of beleaguered LDS people in the times of distress to come. Mr. Stan Wheeler, current president of the board of directors, speaks cautiously about the continued involvement of himself and other board members in the mine. He says all board members are active in the LDS faith and believe President Benson is our prophet. We are not claiming revelation. Wheeler says the board currently directs only development work and no mining. He also reports that the board has rejected apostate groups and individuals who would like to become involved with the mine, naming such notorious examples as Ron and Dan Lafferty and the Singer clan. And yet, Wheeler and other board members cling fast to John Coyle's words that their beloved mine will be a success. Wheeler says proudly, "In due time we will be able to ship ore." The devotion of these people to their belief in that original vision is shown in the careful upkeep of the property. Geologists are called in periodically for consultation. The records are maintained carefully and the office is up to date, complete with telephones, electric typewriters, and a computer system. The mine continues to be a consuming interest in the lives of the board members and others who hold shares of stock. And after all, why not? You gotta have your dreams. Oops.